So in order for us to come here, if we are looking to come in at a higher, say, starseed level or higher dimensional being, we need to come into one of the vessels. So there's a limited amount of vessels. So that's why you would hear, like, say, Dolores talk about that in her videos, how everybody was so important, because every body is important, the physical body, because we all come in into these bodies that are already here in this blueprint of Earth. And so every single one of you who is a starseed, who is an angelic being, who is a higher dimensional being, especially if maybe you didn't really have lives here on Earth and you're coming from the higher dimensions, maybe even from straight from source. In order for you to come in, you have to actually come into a body that's already here, because you weren't, say, maybe you weren't here perhaps from original blueprints. But the way that I can explain is that, so then you have to come in into, and if you are coming from a higher perspective of higher dimensional energies, then what you typically will do is come into a essence of you. So say you are in the 11th dimension, right? Say you're an angelic being in the 11th dimension, but angelic beings are multidimensional. They go infinite to all dimensions. So, but say you are an Elohim in the 11th dimension, and then you are deciding to come in. Well, this Elohim being has infinite fractals, perhaps, throughout creation, right? But maybe on Earth, maybe they have, I don't know, 100. So out of these 100 fractals that they have incarnated here on Earth, this angelic being coming from the 11th dimension, so this being here on Earth in the 3rd dimension right now, is a fractal of this 11 dimensional but multi-dimensional angelic being. So what happens is that this fractal here has been stuck, most likely in the inverted matrix, which we'll be talking about next, and it needs assistance. So what we're doing here in the 11th dimension as this angelic oversoul or higher self being, oversoul's more like higher in the, where it's 0 and infinite dimensions. That's where the oversoul is at. Higher selves are in higher dimensions. There's not a specific dimension because they travel through the different dimensions of creation. Okay. And as so then what happens is that this soul is done. It's done what it needed to do, perhaps, or maybe it's stuck, so it needs assistance. So as it's born, it gradually shifts. As it gradually shifts and it raises in vibration, it reaches a peak point where this now higher self over here can now create a bigger piece, a wholer piece of their angelic energies that still is this fractal. But this essence of angelic being is going to carry more light codes. It's similar like the star seeds, the babies that are coming in, like that. Okay, so it's actually just like that. So this essence soul that comes in from this angelic being will prepare. It'll cultivate even for a while inside of Earth, sometimes even hundreds of years. These things are not just, they don't happen like sporadically in the higher dimensions. They actually happen very divinely planned and without overstepping boundaries. So then this essence cultivates inside Earth, and we talked about that through different videos that we talked about. Which one? The Lionsgate, and the pyramids and the double-sided diamonds that are inside of Earth. So you can watch that video for that. And then when it's time, it's a portal that they come out and they birth out, and Mother's heart is there with them inside of Earth, and then they come out and then they merge into the body. So they can merge into it. That can just be considered a walk. And if they can merge right into a baby body, that maybe that fractal has an agreement with a benevolent agreement with the higher dimensional of them. So there's many different perspectives. I'm just giving you like some main major ones. And then basically it's a soul agreement. So they come in, the higher aspect that the higher self has created here of this angelic being comes in, integrates, and at that point it becomes a walk-in, if you want to see it that way. But it is, because what it does is sometimes that soul that was here before, they come in, but it's still them, right? Because this is a smaller fractal of them, and then this is a bigger fractal of them. Now in some cases though, it's a whole different soul that comes in benevolently that is in agreement too. The journeys that I've heard, they're quite infinite of how this works out. But for the majority is your wholer being of you is going to come in, integrate, and that's how my walking is. So I went by Aura, and then she would be like, Aurora is my higher self, and then she was very connected, worked really hard. And then, yeah, I came in. She knew the minute I was coming in and flying in with the beautiful celestial prime dragons of purity that protected my soul. They came in and they brought my soul in. They are the storks, and they, put me in. And then she knew, she was aware of it. And we integrated. And her perspective, her fractal was done. She had done what she needed to do. She just needed to go ascend out and go hang out in the new earth. So her essence is hanging out in the new earth, really beautifully, very happy. And then, but when, per my example, my walk-in came in, I integrated her memories and so on. Yeah. So that's typically how a major walk-in will work, and that's my explanation to my walk-in. So, but again, there's many different perspectives, and there is also negative polarized, and I wouldn't call it a walk-in because that's not a walk-in, where they compromise the soul. They can't completely replace the soul, but what they will do is that they will black magic soul bind the soul. And then the negative polarized entity, when the soul is in the lowest dimension, when negative polarized entity comes in, thinking maybe I should have made a whole video about walk-ins. So yes, and they come in and they encase that soul into a black magic, kind of like a cage, black magic cage or cube, that's inverted, and they contain it, and then the soul is still in the body, but that's the original soul is still somewhere there, but it's locked away, like they sold their soul away, similar. So that is a negative polarized. So we were talking about the benevolence point of view.